Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. In this video, we have Gabby Wendy explaining where she is in life, and she says, I don't think I would ever date a man again. And she says, I feel so emotionally connected to my girlfriend, and that's what's most important. For me, we are happy for Gabby. I'm going to read, or paraphrase, I should say, what she wrote in her article for Glamour. Follow me on Instagram at DNeal. So if you want stand-up show updates, tomorrow night I'm in Seattle. I'll be flying there this afternoon, and I'll be doing some press for their morning NBC news program. You might catch me on the 11 a.m. hour. We'll have to see. But either way, if you're in Seattle or any of the surrounding areas and want to see my live stand-up show, you can go over there, comedy-bar.com for tickets. And also, you could check out the Patreon. If you can't catch the live action, I will post the video on Patreon. So patreon.com/Dave Neal to go check out that. All right, let's get into it. Gabby Wendy, I don't think I would ever date a man again. And of course, you know, they always like to pull one quote out from a whole article, which, by the way, is perfectly fine with me. Date whoever you want to date. I always tell people, do what makes you feel happy. And of course, it appears she's super happy with her new authentic life as she's come out of the closet. The former Bachelorette 32 on coming out publicly, why she couldn't be less concerned with labels, and finally finding the big love she'd been looking for. Anyway, here we go. So we got the backstory of her, and I guess she wrote this, and then they edited it a little bit for clarity or whatever. Because of things I've been through in my public eye, from The Bachelor to The Bachelorette, I've learned your story really gets told for you through editing. So now I wanted to be able to tell it myself. It's pretty taboo to out people these days, but there was a fear of that, and I want to be able to talk about my life openly. That's how people know me. But I don't think I realized how good it was going to feel to be this open. Earlier this year, I told a friend of mine who is queer that something sparked in me when I was watching Perfect Match on Netflix. The show had an openly bi lesbian storyline with Francesca and Abby, and it seemed just very genuine. Something inside of me could relate, and I thought maybe I need to explore this. I'm 32 and I've been through a lot, just like everybody. We all just want to be loved at the end of the day, have a connection, and feel supported. So when I moved back to Los Angeles in March after the Dancing with the Stars tour, I went on a date with a woman I met on the app Raya. I'd still indicated on my profile that I was interested in men and women, but I wasn't really looking at the men. Everybody knows me as the Bachelorette and dating multiple men, but I knew if this is something that feels true to me, I had to follow it. There have been signs since my childhood, and you kind of just get to the point where you allow the whisper to get louder, basically. I've always felt really emotionally connected to my girlfriend, some of which have ended in breakups so emotional, it feels like how you would in a romantic relationship. And there were probably other things that I just suppressed or told myself was nothing. Sometimes before I went to bed at night, out of nowhere, when I was fully straight or whatever, I would think, what if I was gay? And then I'd be like, oh my God, that's just a crazy thought that I'm having. It's Freudian. But it became louder and louder. It was almost like I was afraid for it to happen for some reason. When I would talk to my friends about the possibility that I was gay, I was like, what if I experienced this love that I've always wanted to experience, but it's with a woman? Everyone I talked to was like, Gabby, this is just a phase. You're as straight as they come. But I was just like, but what if? And luckily, I have that natural curiosity and the strength to listen to myself, because that's exactly what happened. Still, I was probably so afraid because it was true and because I grew up in a middle America conservative community. I was not around any gay people, especially not gay women. And I'm sorry, women are the best. I mean, what am I even going to say about it? Men are lucky to have women be attracted to them. We have better bodies, better minds, everything's sexier about us. So it's like, why wouldn't you want two women in a relationship? It just makes sense to me. The first woman I went on a date with was kind of forward in asking me out, which I liked. I was attracted to this woman, but our personalities didn't really mesh, even though she was great and super sweet. But then a few weeks later, I was at a bar where a friend's girlfriend recognized Robbie. Our mutual friend brought her over, and she introduced herself to us. She's hilarious and has such a presence. She knows how to work people. She was like, so what's going on here? The Bachelorette's gay? She asked how old I was, and I said 32. She said nobody explores his sexuality and tries to date women at 32, which I found out is just her very pretentious way of knowing everything. But she's not wrong. It's like, if you're going to do this in your 30s, it's probably going to stick. Then she said, do you come from money? She grew up poor and was curious because when you come from money, you just don't have as much relatability as some other people. There's lots of Nepo babies here, so it's like your world is different whether you like it or not. It's not bad, you have no control over it, but she's 36. She knows what the F she wants. When she asked that, I said, I don't think so. I'm middle class, maybe. But I was also thinking, who is this girl? What is she doing? She gets to the point. And honestly, after meeting her, I need to spread the good word of what it's like to actually meet somebody who you spend your whole life wanting to meet. Anyway, she said, well, I'm not going to lie, Gabby. I want your number. She texted me right away, and we planned a date for a week later. I later found out she'd watched some of my season of The Bachelorette with her friends when it was airing. Apparently, lesbians love The Bachelorette. She picked me up and took me to a trendy restaurant in Hollywood. I was really nervous, but she was so romantic and almost chivalrous. Not in a gendered way, but she just clearly wanted to make me feel special. I question myself a lot, but what I've realized is dating women is just so much more comfortable because you're from the same planet. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Still, this was uncharted territory. It is like a new job, kind of getting the layout, like learning where the coffee machine is, where the snacks are. And Robbie is the most giving and egoless person I've ever really met in dating. She knew she was more experienced, so I guess she was pursuing me more. There's lots of stigma around baby gays. Some women wouldn't even take me out or give me the time of day, but I think I knew what I wanted, which was somebody who was going to show me the ropes and be all in on me. I didn't want somebody to be cautious or tread water. I had been doing that for so long. I just wanted someone to trust me and be 100% in. And so while we were having dinner, we were sitting in a booth, and she said, you can scoot closer to me if you want, and you can hold my hand if you want. So I did. I remember thinking, oh my God, my hand is so much bigger than hers because she's like 5'4", and I have big hands, and I'm 5'9". Physically, seeing myself against someone who's smaller, I think women are so afraid of feeling big. We're supposed to be small and dainty, so that was my first time having something to be so fundamentally different. There's nothing wrong with it, but we're often used to being with big, strong men, and that's what's supposed to make you feel good and like a woman. But now 4 months in, being with her, it just feels like home. I love our height difference, and I still love when I wear heels. I love when I hug her and she nuzzles in my chest and she has to tilt her head up to kiss me. It feels so good. As for sex, obviously there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I'm just so much more comfortable with another woman. I think sex becomes uncomfortable when you feel like there are unspoken expectations. There's nothing of that here. We talk about everything. As different as we are, we're definitely cut from the same cloth. We're both really open with our communication and know what we want. We're not going to let anything get in the way, and we trust each other implicitly. With her, I can just be myself. It's an awakening. It's serendipitous and kismet and kind of spiritual, but also very stable. We were both meant for a big type of love, and now it's finally here. And yet after I started dating Robbie, I had all the internalized shame from the way I grew up. If there was ever discussion about being gay, it was shameful. It really came up in therapy, and I was like, is it because of my trauma? Do I just have mommy issues? Maybe it is, but I'm the happiest I've ever been these last 4 months, so why would I question it? But I had to go through all of that to get to where I am now. Still, it was scary to tell my family. They're used to me coming to them with off-the-wall stuff because I'm a little bit unpredictable, but I don't think they ever expected this. I told them in such a nonchalant way. I was like, I'm seeing a girl. They didn't really know what to do with it, but said, we just want you to be happy. I think my parents think it's just a phase, especially the older generation, but it's not a phase. I just have to give them room. I'm still figuring out what this means too. My grandfather doesn't really care who I'm dating. It just hasn't come up, and that's okay. He's 85 and up to his own things these days. Let him be. He's living his best life. I've thought a lot about labels and why people want you to have one or even want themselves to have one. I think it's relatability and it's an identifier. It gives you a little more perspective and context. I can appreciate that. I guess bisexual would be the most honest label for me, but I don't know. I just know after dating women, I don't think I would ever date a man again. I feel so emotionally connected to my girlfriend, and that's what's most important for me. So I don't know if I don't believe in labels. It's not black and white. I just am what I am. This is the best relationship I've ever been in. So if you want to be happy for me in a relationship, be happy for me now. This interview has been condensed and edited for clarity. All right, well, that's the full conversation. Again, I don't know if it started as a Q&A when they turned it into a first person. I really don't know how that worked out, but either way, very interesting to hear the conversation about how Gabby feels. Now, we've kind of known this for a while, that Gabby didn't want well, how do I put it this way? I think it's, first of all, it's pretty wild that she's 4 months into a relationship. And look, she does the interview, and it's like, who cares if the relationship works out or doesn't? It's good for her to be pursuing her sexuality and not putting labels on things. And yet, immediately afterwards, the label she uses was, what did she say? Men's bodies? I'm trying to remember what she said here. I don't have it searched, but she said like men, women are the better looking, better bodies, and that was a little strange to me because it's like we're not seeing gender. Like I think there is a wild fluidity when it comes to attraction, and I think people can be attracted to whoever the hell they damn please, of course. It kind of feels to me like Gabby's had some really bad relationships, and I'm not saying that means that's why she's bisexual. She's bisexual because she's bisexual. Don't get any other idea of what I'm saying here. But at the same time, she's like, men suck, and we're so different. Some people are attracted to the differences, and some people aren't. So it looks like she's enjoying the angle of femininity she feels with Robbie, which is fantastic. Couldn't say anything other than happy for her. But with that said, there are different types of men. She's like, well, women are all wanting these big, strong men. I'm like, average size guys are just like, oh, really? I didn't know. I thought there was other things that we could offer. But I understand the point there is that she's feeling like she's getting to play a different role, and a role that is more, unique and authentic to who she is. And with that, we're happy for her. All right, what else can we say here? Let's go to our shitty comment of the day. Lydia posted this on Gabby's page. I think it was very disrespectful and tasteless the way she kept kissing and showing off with her girlfriend every time the cameras were on them. You can be or do whatever you want, but don't have to be overdoing it in front of everyone. Lost all respect for you. That's Lydia. That's a grandmother, folks. I just like to point out how ridiculous people are. I'll see you in Seattle tomorrow night. More content coming your way. Don't forget this afternoon, like every afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast. Thanks for sharing with us, Gabby. We can't wait to see what's next for you.